technologically challenged.
No, don't even worry about it. I'm still trying to figure out all of this social media stuff. This whole IG sharing screen is completely new, but we're so excited that you have joined us. I have to give you a more formal introduction. Okay. So, but like I said, for everyone who is joining, this is the wonderful, amazing, incredible Amy. Amy Durham, she was my birth doula for Kalea, who's my first hospital birth, and also for Nade and Navaya, who were my 2 home births. And I really would not have been able to do this process without Amy. She has been at all 3 of my births, and honestly, it has been incredible. I will tell you, Amy.
Fun being along for the ride for all 3 of them.
Yes. Thank you so much, Amy. And I will say that I've already got a ton of people who are like, how can I book Amy? So we'll definitely talk more about how people can stay connected with you at the very end, because I want people to know how they can follow you and connect with you and all of the great resources that you have. So if you're on the chat, make sure you're saying hello to Amy. I think we've got a ton of people already saying hello, Amy. Hi, Amy. So again, if you just joined us, any questions that you have, you're going to go ahead and submit your questions, not in the comments because I don't want us to miss them. Submit your questions via the little question mark box that you see on the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, submit them that way. At the end, we're going to give Amy time to answer some of your questions. All right. So we are going to go ahead and dive right in, Amy, because I want to make sure that you have time to share. So the first question I have really is just more of an introduction for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to be a doula.
Sure. So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I am a wife. I am a mommy to 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. They keep me on my toes, keep me young, but I feel like I'm going to get gray hair because of them at the same time. I grew up in California, but now Virginia is home for me. So I've been here for a while. And before I became a doula, I was a psychologist and therapist. So I still loved working with people, helping people overcome challenges in life and helping them to live their best life. So I still am doing that as a doula, just in a different role. And the way that I became a doula was our first baby. My husband and I, it was just us. We didn't have a lot of family or friends around. We took just the typical hospital birth course, figured, we'll just take this little hospital birth course. We'll just go to whatever local doctor is here that everybody else goes to, and they'll just take care of the rest, and we'll just show up to the hospital in labor, and they'll just tell us what to do. So we did, and it was a long, exhausting, overwhelming, stressful, scary process of not knowing what's happening, what's going on. I mean, we didn't have a doula. I didn't even know what a doula was back then. I don't even know if there were doulas back then. It was just me and my husband. He'd never done this before. I'd never done this before. And, the doctors and nurses are calling the shots, telling us what to do, and I'm just listening okay, I don't even know what that means. I never thought to think, is that a good idea or a bad idea? Is there benefits or risks to that? It was just, okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And, 24 hours later, we have a baby with all the interventions, all the meds, the epidural, I'm passing out. I mean, it was like a train wreck. And I felt I was just along for the ride. And by the end of it, I was like, that was awful. I'm never going to do that again. Mm-hmm. So honestly, we waited another 4 years before we had our next baby, because for a long time, I was just like, gosh, I don't know how I can get over that. And if things can be any better, if this is birth, do I really want to do that again?
Right.
And I have a lot of clients that feel that way after a first traumatic birth. They just feel like, I don't know if I ever want to do that again. So our next baby, we had a midwife and we had a doula, and we were in a birth center connected to a hospital, and it was a lot better. A lot better. Not all the way better, but a lot better. To feel like we had people that were on our team, that were working with us ahead of time, that knew what our goals were, that really wanted to help me have the natural birth that I wanted. So that was a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Our third and fourth babies we had at home with the midwife, with the doula, with the birth assistant that we had been working with for 9 months, and it was incredible. It was an incredible, beautiful, empowering, redeeming experience.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, birth can be amazing. It can be wonderful. Like, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops, like, let's do it again. This is incredible. And a light bulb went off in my head. Like, oh my gosh, I'll bet most people don't know it can be like this. They think it needs to be like that other thing, like we did in the hospital the first time. Like, that's what we all go through, and we think, well, that's just what you got to put up with to have a beautiful baby, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 home births with an empowering midwife and people that were just there for me, massaging my back and encouraging me. And when I said, oh, I want to do this, can I just lay down here? They were like, of course, lay down. Here's a pillow. You know, and I thought, gosh, I really want to be able to offer this to other women.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show them that it can be like this and they can have an amazing birth. They don't have to have a horrible birth and then do this for their third and fourth. I want to be able to offer this to women from the get-go.
Wow.
So completely, I went back to work, went back to school, became a doula, and so I've been a doula for about the last 6 years now, and it's been incredible. It's really become the passion of my life.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I will say, I could tell from the moment that I met you that this truly was a passion. When we, just to let you all know, we met Amy through an agency, and we got the chance to interview probably like 5 doulas that were there, and there was an instant connection. And even though I think you had mentioned you hadn't done too many births then.
You guys were like one of my first handful of births that I attended.
Yeah. But I think the confidence that you had was the thing that instantly connected us to you. I was like, I need somebody who is confident and knows what they're doing. So I think that was definitely one of the things that drew both myself and my husband to you. And it's evident even through your story where that passion is coming from. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, for people who, you're right, there might be people who don't know what a doula is. They don't know what type of services doulas offer. Tell us a little bit about what a doula is and what type of services you do offer for parents who are, well, for mothers and also for soon-to-be fathers.
Absolutely. So a doula is a professional expert birth coach. We are not medical care providers. We don't catch babies. Midwives do that. Doctors deliver babies, as we say. We don't do medical procedures. We are here for emotional, educational, physical support all along the way, from the beginning in pregnancy all the way through labor and delivery and after you have your baby. Mm-hmm. So we are here to help provide you with education so that you understand how your body works, how the birth process works, what to expect so that you're not afraid of it. You can embrace it. We're here to help you make healthy choices for your body, to get your body ready for the birth process, mm-hmm. to help teach you breathing techniques, to help empower you to move past the feeling of fear. You know, our society does a really good job of teaching women that birth is this big, scary, awful thing you got to get through. So I'm here for empowerment for you as well, to also just for the practical things of helping you get things ready at home for your baby, to find a care provider, whether that's a doctor or a midwife, to find the best fit for you, to help you find whether it's the best hospital or birth center or home for you to make those choices. So I'm here all along the way throughout pregnancy for that. When somebody hires me, I give you my cell phone number, my email, and people can be in touch with me on a daily basis if they want to.
That is true, everyone. That is true.
Text me, vent about how you're feeling. Call me in the middle of the night and ask me, is this weird sensation I'm having, normal? What do I do about that? So here for hand holding all along the way. Then we also have prenatal visits together where I come over to your house and we meet together in person and we talk about what all of your birth preferences are. And a lot of people don't know what their preferences are because they don't know that they have rights. Yes. They have options and choices. So we talk about what all those choices can be so that you can get to know the whole process and decide for yourself what your preference is and what options you want or that you don't want. Right. And to know that you're allowed to say, yes, I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay. We'll do that. Or to decline and say, no, thank you. I don't want to do that when I'm having my so that's what our prenatal visits are for, to talk about it all so that I can get to know you better, and then we can have like a game plan together. Help you write your birth plan if you're having a hospital birth. And then we usually have a second visit where we practice labor positions. We talk about breathing, comfort measures, ways to stay comfortable at your birth, so that by the time that you go into labor, you are no longer afraid. You feel confident and empowered, and you are ready to have your baby, and you're excited about it. Yes. I mean, it's going to be an exciting day. Of course, there's going to be nerves. It's like when you get married, you've got nerves, but it should be a lot of excitement. Like, this is going to be one of the biggest days of your life. So I'm here to get you pumped up and excited and ready for that. Yes. Then when you go into labor, you let me know what you're feeling, and I'm here to help you count those contractions and know when is it time to go to the hospital or when is it time for me to come over for your home birth. Mm-hmm. And then I come and I join you, and I am there to rub your back and show you positions to help get your baby out and to squeeze your hips and relieve the pain, to help make sense of all of the mumbo jumbo that all the medical ease are talking about. When they tell you, well, we're seeing this or that in the monitor, it's easy to feel like, well, what does that mean? Like, what do we do about that? Is that normal, or is that, something wrong with my baby? So I can be here to kind of help guide you through, this is what they're saying, let me explain what's happening, and then help you make choices along the way as things go. Let's say your doctor were to say, well, we're thinking about breaking your water now. I might say, hey, Fran, do you want to take 5 minutes and think about that? Do you want to talk about it for a few minutes? And, your doctors and nurse might leave, and that's the time for us to just have a conversation together about what the benefits might be of that, what the risks might be, if there's any alternatives to that, and then ask you, how do you feel about that? Are you comfortable with that decision? Not just, this is what's going to happen, and so that's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. So I help you make those decisions. Then we bring your care team back in, and then you get to tell them and use your voice and tell them, yeah, I'm good with that. Or, no, I'd like to wait a little while. So really empowering moms and women to find their voice and know that they get options, and to have somebody along the whole time. Nurses are wonderful, but they often have quite a few patients. They're running up and down the halls. They'll come in, check your vitals. They do what they can do in that short amount of time. And as much as they would love to spend time with you, they can't because they have charting to do and other patients to see. And, within 12 hours, they're gone. I stay there with you the whole time until you have your baby. If you're there for 24 hours, I am there with you the whole time until your baby is there. I don't change shifts or go on a break. I'm there with you. One-on-one the whole time. And that's also for our husbands and partners as well. It's a long, emotionally exhausting day for them too. So I'm there to help keep the partners, keep the husbands calm, show them the things that they can do, show them how to rub your back and apply counter pressure so that they can really be a part of the process as well. But then also knowing when they're looking like they're starting to keel over, that I need to tell them, you need to go get some coffee. go take a break, go get some dinner. I'm here with her. She's not going to be alone. It's all right. Or tell them to go take a nap so that they can, be fully present when their baby's born. So doulas are there for dads as well. We are not there to take their place. We are there as a team. The husband and I working together as a team along with their wife to help bring their baby into this world. I'm never there to step on toes because I always say dads know, husbands know their wives a lot better than I ever will. But I know birth probably better than they ever will. So
Yes.
the three of us, it's like team trifecta there to bring this baby into this world.
Yeah.
So doulas are there for the whole family.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, the amount of work that you guys put into helping us is incredible. And I think I'm honestly so honored to be able to be using my platform to educate women today regarding all of this, because I think even with what I learned, I knew that I wanted a doula, but I didn't understand how involved you all were until I had the conversation and I chatted with you. And I'm one of the first to raise my hand and say that half of the stuff that you and I talked about with my husband regarding my birth plan, when you gave me the questionnaire for that prenatal visit, I was like, what is this? I didn't even know that this was stuff that the hospital was doing, or that they wouldn't even consult me about, or that they would ask me. And I would probably have just answered, well, do most women do that? Okay, then I'll go ahead and do that. But after talking through a lot of those things on the birth plan with you, I realized that there were a lot of things I actually didn't want for the day of the birth. And so this is why I'm a huge advocate. I'm like, even if you're not going to do the birth at home, I think it's so important for people to know that the doula is there to support whatever decision you take. Even if that means I think you even told me one time, even if that means having a C-section, if that's the route you're going to take, that does not count a doula out. If anything, you guys are there to support the mother's decision.
Right. And I do want to clarify that. I think there's a perception that doulas are there for home births, or they're only there for people that are like crunchy, that are only having a natural and medicated birth. That is not the case. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of doulas work both in the hospital and the home. I'll tell you that probably 80% of the births that I do are in the hospital. Mm-hmm. I love doing a good home birth, and we'll talk more about that later. I love it. But 80% of the births that I attend are in hospitals.
Yeah.
And same goes for all the other doulas as well. Because we are here not with an agenda, not to tell women this is where you should birth and how you should birth. We're here to ask you, what is a good experience for you?
Right.
If you have a hospital and a doctor or a midwife that you just love, great, then that's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you, well, but you can't have an epidural. No, because probably half the women that I work with do get an epidural, maybe even more than that. And that's okay, because I'm here to support their choices, not push my choices on them. I've already done my 4 births. Mm-hmm. You get to make your choices about where you want to be. So I do want to clear up that misperception that doulas are only there if you're a hippie or if you're doing a home birth, because that's absolutely not the case. Pretty much all of the doulas out there do attend home births. Right. And hospital births as well. And also, like you said, also sometimes people think, oh, well, you hire a doula like right before your due date and then they just show up at the hospital. No. If you do it that way, you can, but it's kind of sad because you miss out on 9 months of support.
Yeah.
Of me helping you plan and prepare and get ready, educated, and talking to me on the phone. You miss all of that. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's thinking about hiring a doula, please don't wait until the last minute. All the good doulas get booked up way ahead of time, months at a time. So when you're in your first or even early second trimester, if you're thinking about hiring a doula, that's the best time to go find the doula for you. Go doula shopping and pick one out so that they can be there for you all along through your pregnancy.
Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing that information. And I'm glad that we cleared up the misconception that doulas are only available for home births or natural births. You guys are available for any type of birth that the mother wants to do. This is her choice.
Right.
So thank you for clarifying that. And I know I'm probably going to just ask like a couple more questions because I do want to make sure that we have time to answer any folks' questions. So if this is your first, if you're now joining, just know that we are going to be answering some questions. Amy's going to do us the incredible kind favor of answering questions at the end of this session. So make sure to just submit your questions via that little question mark box that's at the bottom of your screen. So I'll be opening that up for the questions. I think we have one so far. So make sure to keep bringing those in if you have any and anything pops up as you're listening. But then with that being said, Amy, I did want to, we've already kind of started talking about this. So when it comes to, I guess, just your favorite settings to do births, what would you say that is and why?
If I had to be honest, it would be attending home births and also for myself doing a home birth or having birth at home. And the reason for that is that's where I have seen women have the highest level of respect, the highest level of bodily autonomy, meaning control and choices over your own body and not giving all of your power over to another person. Mm-hmm. I see less interventions. And when I say interventions, I don't mean, oh, we had to do this life-saving measure to keep somebody safe. I mean using medications or tools or techniques because people were getting impatient and wanted to hurry up the process and get the baby out because it was just taking too long, or it was time for the doctor to go off shift and so we should just hurry it up, or because it's convenient for people in the room to do it one way, or it's too much trouble for them, or just because we don't want to be bothered, or because we don't trust women's bodies to be able to do the job by themselves. Right. So let's just throw all the tools and medicine and everything that we can at somebody and tell them how they have to give birth because it's easier this way. I don't see that at home births. We see women being honored and respected and asked, what do you think? How do you feel? What choice would you like? And we are all just here to honor that and to keep you safe and to keep your baby safe.
Yes.
So I love home births for that reason.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I think, I love home births. After the very first one, I was like, I don't think I'm going back to a hospital again unless I have to. That's not to say that I didn't have a good experience at the hospital. I think I had, like you said, incredible nurses. I had an incredible doctor with a very low cesarean rate. And, that it was a great experience working with her. But I second everything that you've said. I mean, there was, no matter what the doctor, the OB told me the days that we had the visits, I think I was told everything I wanted to hear, which was you will be able to labor the way you want to labor. But then when I got to the hospital, it was a completely different story because now I'm in the room with people who weren't at those conversations that I had with the doctor, and they want me to do it in a way that's going to be easier for them, but it wasn't necessarily conducive for me. So thank you so much for sharing. Now, we'll do one last one. Let's see here, because I did have a couple of questions. I think you already gave us a glimpse about what the whole process is like. So I do want to add, my last question is going to be regarding the postpartum. So I know that you talked about also offering postpartum support as a doula. So tell us a little bit about that service and what that entails.
Absolutely. So many people don't know there is also something called, my necklace is really shiny there. There's also something called a postpartum doula. Also, many birth doulas offer postpartum services. And when I say postpartum, a lot of people think, oh, postpartum depression. I don't mean postpartum depression. Postpartum means the first 3 to 4 months after your baby is born. That's what that means. So everybody goes through a postpartum period. We also call it the 4th trimester. It's when a mommy is born as well and she's becoming a mother. And 1 in 5 women develop postpartum depression or anxiety. 1 in 5. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
And we know that part of the reason is lack of support in the United States. If you think about other traditional cultures, you had your mom and your sisters and your aunties and all the women from the village that would come and take care of you for 40 days. They would cook for you and show you how to breastfeed your baby. They were here to show you all the ropes of how to be a new mom. And then here we are in the United States where we just expect women to bounce back after they have a baby. Like, it's been a week. Why aren't you out of bed cooking and cleaning and running the house and taking care of everything? Like, we just birthed a human being, but we're left alone. And we wonder why people are depressed because they need support. So if you don't have that village, if you don't have family around, or even if you do and you want people that are professionally trained, postpartum doulas are here to mother the mother. Mm-hmm. We are different than a baby nurse or a nanny or a night nurse in that those people are fantastic, but they are only there to take care of the baby. A postpartum doula is there to take care of the mother, right, and the baby, but she's also there to teach the mother how to be strong and confident in taking care of her own baby. So a day might be where I come over and I hold the baby while you get a nice hot shower and you eat some nutritious food that I cooked for you and you get a nap. And then I put the baby in the sling and I do the dishes for you and prepare the dinner while you go get some fresh air and sunshine to uplift your mental mood. And then we talk about how are you feeling mentally and emotionally? How is this postpartum period feeling for you? We talk about how is your body healing in this new stage of motherhood. So it's complete wraparound care to mother the mother during that postpartum period.
Right. That's awesome. That's beautiful. I will say that Amy did provide some postpartum service for us for Kalea, my very first one, and I needed it. So I was so honored to have you there even for that period, that 4th trimester, Amy. So thank you so much. I mean, I cannot thank you enough.
Telling you, I remember holding her and you saying, I might just close my eyes for a little bit. I don't know if I'll be able to fall asleep. I'll just close my eyes. And like a couple hours later, she was hungry and I was like, well, knocking in your door. You and Sergio sat bolt upright. We were asleep. We were sleeping. Yes, you were, and you needed it, but you were so overtired. You were out.
Yes, and we didn't realize that we needed it. So it wasn't until you came over, said, I'll just watch the baby for a little bit. Don't worry. I mean, we laid down. I literally thought it was going to be 5 minutes, and we were out for a couple of hours, but felt so recharged. So honestly, it was, if you're able, for anybody who's listening, if you're able to get postpartum doula support, I mean, honestly, it is an incredible investment. I think one of the things that people look at when it comes to whether it's hiring a doula, a postpartum doula, one of the things is, you know, do I have the money to do it? You know, how much is this going to cost me? And my response to everyone is always, this is an investment. It's not a cost. It's not money that's wasted.
Your mental health, your physical health. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely an investment. And I will be doing, guys, a separate live to just talk about ways around financing any of these investments that you're making in yourself, because there are ways, especially if you have an employer and you have health insurance or HSAs, health savings accounts, there are ways to fund these investments. So I'll be talking about that on a later live. But I want to leave some time for questions. So if you have any questions that you still want to submit, make sure you do it through that little box that's at the bottom of your screen. But we do have a few questions that have come in already, Amy, so I do want to give time to those. So this is my first time doing this, so give me a sec while I figure out how to open these questions. Okay. So I have one question was, how far along do you recommend booking a doula? I think you did mention this already, right?
I don't mind clarifying real quick. I've had people hire me as soon as they found out they were pregnant, but a lot of my clients hire me between like 12 and 13 weeks when they feel, okay, this pregnancy is sticking, I'm out of that scary first trimester. Then like around the 13th mark is when a lot of people start to hire me.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So that's like second trimester, right? Going right to the top.
Second trimester.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let me see. The next one is it more expensive to have a hospital birth and a doula?
Well, for most, if you have health insurance, for most people, their health insurance is paying for the majority of their birth. And then, so you're paying your copay, whatever you need to pay on your hospital bill, and then the cost of your doula.
Yes.
Um, and same goes for if you're having a home birth, you're paying whatever portion you have for your home birth, and then also the cost of your doula.
Yes. And I'll speak to that, guys, too, in a later session. But the cost of the doula is a separate cost, so it's not covered by insurance, although it really should be. I should really start being an activist for this. But again, there are ways to finance it, and I think people think that it's more expensive than I mean, for the amount of services that you guys provide, it's the cost to me is like people are spending that in 1 month on like food, you know? So it really is an investment, guys. And let me see here. Okay, so is it possible for you to overbook?
Meaning, so I'll try to figure out what they meant. Overbook meaning like if I took too many clients and I couldn't make it to all the births.
Yes, yeah,
So
that's what
I
that.
try not to do that. All of us try not to do that. We try to space out the due dates that we take and try to guess like, okay, this person is the first time mother, so she'll probably go a little bit late. And, try to space people out with the plan and the hopes that we're going to be there for everybody. Mm-hmm. In the very unlikely event, and I say unlikely because I've been doing this for close to 6 years, I think I've had to call in a backup maybe 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't happen very often. But in the unlikely event, we all have backup partners that we work with. And I see all the hearts flying. Yeah, we all have backup partners. And they're all people that we love and trust and know that they work just like we would. They make the decisions just like we would. And that way, in the unlikely event that if we are at another birth or if we had the flu, something like that, then we have somebody we can call them up and say, oh, Fran's in labor, but I'm at another birth. I need you to please come. And they will. Yeah. And most of the time, these backups are more than willing to do a Skype call with you so that you can see their face before your due date, just in case they needed to come.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, because I did forget to mention that in past lives, but yes, I believe I had a conversation with your backup in the event you weren't going to be there, but you've been there for all 3. Okay, let me see. We've got some more questions coming in. This one is, my husband and I are starting to plan the process of having our second child. I am high risk, so I will have to deliver in the hospital. Besides picking you as my future... Oh gosh, it's not letting me read the whole thing. Oh no, why can't I read the whole thing? Okay, submit the second part of that question. I don't want to say her name, but
we'll take care of it, okay?
Yes. Let me see. And we have, okay, do you turn people down because you have conflicting due dates?
I do, yeah. If there are due dates, I really, really don't like booking 2 due dates or 2 people for the same due date. It just freaks me out. I know there's a lot of doulas that will, because there is like less than 1% of babies come on their due date. Yeah. So it's very, very unlikely that both of those babies are going to be born on the same due date. 99.9% of the time they're going to be born in other days. But it makes me nervous. So unless it's like both of these people just, they really, really want to work with me and they're okay with taking that chance, then I do. And it still works. Yeah.
That's good to know.
I have a limited number of spots, and I tell people, like, I'm only taking 4 clients a month so that I can be at everybody's birth. And so unfortunately, if somebody waits, and then I'm booked for that month, then I can't take them.
Right, right. And with that said, if somebody was interested in booking you and they're currently on the live or they're going to watch this later, because I tend to get tons of views right after for anybody who missed it. What areas do you currently service?
So I currently service Virginia, mostly Northern Virginia, and Washington, D.C. I typically do not go to Maryland. I have tons of good friends that are amazing doulas that work in Maryland. But every once in a while, I make an exception.
Yeah.
People that know Fran, I make exceptions. But I try to stick a little bit closer to home in Virginia. Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you for making the exception for me. I think when we... Yes, and Angie, who is on the line, and you were with Angie. Well, Angie was at all 3 of mine, which is how you all made the connection.
Yeah.
So thank you for also taking her. I appreciate that. And then let me see. I want to see if we have any other questions here. Okay, you've answered the one about when's the right time to hire, hospital birth. Okay, I don't think I have any other questions that came through. Oh, wait, let me see if... Okay, no, that was another one. All right, so I think, Amy, we might have time for one more question, if that's okay with you.
That's fine with me.
Okay, this one, are you okay with me asking about placenta encapsulation? Okay. Because I think...
Drop off the screen.
Yeah. So this one is for those of you who do not know, I actually took the placenta encapsulation service that Amy offers, and I will say it was incredible for me for many reasons. I talk about this on my blog, but for my first birth, I experienced borderline postpartum depression. So I wasn't diagnosed with full postpartum depression, but they told me I was borderline and I really needed to take care of myself because I was heading down in that direction if I didn't. So I ended up having to do physical therapy, a ton of different things, mental health, a ton of different things just to ensure that I was physically and mentally getting back to a good, healthy place. And so the second time around, Amy recommended, why don't you try taking your placenta? And, when you think about it, it sounds like somebody's just going to cook this placenta and like chop it up in pieces of meat, but it really is not that at all. So I want you to talk to our audience about what placenta encapsulation is and the benefits to that.
So placenta encapsulation is a process of taking your placenta, I take it home, and I thoroughly clean it, drain it, steam it, and then thinly slice it, and then it's dehydrated. And then it's ground up into a very fine powder, and that powder is put into capsules that look just like a vitamin capsule that you would you would never know what was in it. And the benefits to it is that we have found that the placenta contains 17 different hormones and nutrients that the mother's body is missing after birth. During birth, the endocrine system starts working differently, our hormonal systems start working differently, and the placenta takes over for our body and produces all the things that we need to keep stable. But then what happens is after birth, all of a sudden, about 3 days later, those hormones that were just chugging along, whoop, drop off. And about the 3rd day is when a lot of women start to have the baby blues, crying jags, anxiety kicks in, besides just getting over having a baby and just all of the physical things and healing that goes on. So when you take placenta capsules, instead of your hormones taking a deep dive like that, it's a very, very gradual, slow process of weaning off of those hormones and nutrients until your body is starting to make them all on its own once again. So your placenta is kind of like a bridge to bridge the gap in between birth to past that fourth trimester.
Mm-hmm.
So it puts hormones back into your body. It can help with healing, blood loss, pain, energy, increased breast milk, help to prevent postpartum depression and anxiety. It can help with the bonding hormones between mothers and babies to help facilitate bonding. So just really amazing things that we have found that are in the placenta that can help mothers.
Yes. And I will say, just to piggyback off of that, this for me, because faith is a huge part of who I am, just speaks to the incredible machine that God has created when it comes to women. The fact that our bodies are not just producing what our children need, but they're also producing what we need to handle even the postpartum phase. And I think a lot of even that education is missing currently in the birth realm. And the more people know about all of these incredible things that God has designed us with, the more empowered and ready we will be really to take on birth. And so I really do hope, I hope that everyone who tuned in today got something out of this. If you did, please make sure you give us some hearts. Make sure that you tell Amy thank you today for all of the information that she's shared. So you might start seeing some of those comments come through, Amy, but honestly, I cannot thank you enough. You have been an angel, heaven sent.
We've wanted to do this for a long time.
Yes, we have. It took 3 years, but we're here.
I don't know what you've been up to and been busy with, Fran.
I know, right? Let me check my calendar.
Right.
But thank you so much, Amy. Before you go, I want you to tell the people how they can stay connected with you. So socials, website, give us all of that.
Absolutely. So my business is Mother Nurture Doula Services. And my website is mothernurturecare.com. And my email is mothernurturecare@gmail.com. So you can look me up. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, and love to see you hit my website as well.
Yes. Your Instagram, because your Facebook is Mother Nurture Care. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Your Instagram is it also Mother Nurture Care, or is it Mother Nurture?
Oh, I'm so bad at that. I don't know.
Well, I think because you're connected, people can literally just click on your name right now and then start following. So everyone, when you get off of this, make sure that you follow Amy, stay connected with her. She puts out incredible resources, great things to empower you through birth. And when you're ready, if you have questions and you're in the area and want to book her, if you're Northern Virginia, DC, make sure to give her a call sooner rather than later. Don't wait. The sooner you can get her, the better, because Amy does book quickly. She's one of the best, and I was so fortunate to have her for my birth. So I'm seeing a lot of people are saying thank you for this. A ton of people are saying following already. Oh, my husband put your tag. Yep, at Mother Nurture Care. And okay, thank you, Amy. You're amazing. We love you. Amy, you're amazing. People are saying thank you. Got so much out of this. Oh. I love this. So we'll definitely have to bring Amy back. Give us some hearts if you want to bring Amy back. But I think when you come back, Amy, I want you to be able to talk about all the other holistic stuff that you do, because it's not just it's not just the doula stuff, the doula services that you offer. But guys, when it comes to staying healthy, Amy is, just follow her. You've got to follow her. Amy has like all these natural, incredible, holistic remedies. It's amazing. So I've learned so much from you. I have kept my family healthy because of you. So
You.
honestly, you have been heaven sent. Thank you so, so much for joining us today.
Oh, you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today, Amy.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and hang this up, but I'm going to wrap up with my folks here.
Okay.
Okay, bye, Amy.
Bye.